Hello, ladies. I'm here with Shalini Nandan Singh. She is a lawyer and legal mentor, and today we are talking about your legal responsibilities as a business owner, because it can be a whole minefield of like, what should I be doing? So we're going to go through some things today. Thanks for joining me, Shalini.
Hello, and thank you for having me.
That's cool. Thanks for being here.
Great to be here again.
So we've got 8 things here. We're kind of going to run through them fairly quickly because we can leave some links where people can explore these things further. But the main thing is we just want to let people know that this is something that you need to look at as a business owner. So up at position number 1, I'm kind of putting some of the shorter maybe ones first, hopefully, is business insurances. So this is not something I see spoken about a lot. So give us a little spiel about what people need to be thinking about in terms of business insurances.
Okay, there's 3 things really. One is professional indemnity. So wherever your business happens to be. So I know that you have some ladies who are from other parts of the world. There are some from Australia. Whichever jurisdiction you're in, if you were to start looking into business insurance, what you're looking at doing is professional indemnity, which is insurance for any mistakes you make in your service or in your delivery of your service, and someone is injured or suffers loss or damage about that. So that's a really important one. And the second insurance is liability. So if what that is, if you are running a business and someone gets injured, that's another type of insurance, but that only applies if you're actually seeing clients on your property.
Yeah. Cool. All right, let's move on to number 2. Now this one is about financial record keeping. Now, first of all, just so you're aware, I will be interviewing Delaney Van.
Oh, great. Sky.
Okay.
That's the one, right.
Yeah. So we're going to go into depth about that. But is there anything you'd like to say, kind of briefly, on that point of responsibilities around financial record keeping?
Only to check. The best thing to do, and Delaney will cover this, I'm sure, and this is what I tell all my clients, because I'm not a financial person, but I do tell them to check in with the peak tax body in your jurisdiction. So in Australia, that's the ATO and the ACCC. The ATO requires that all documentations be kept, or financial records of your business be kept for a period of 5 years, I think it is. So in all your jurisdictions, all the beautiful places that the women that are part of the wonderful space that slow business is, it's worthwhile just checking what the requirement is in your jurisdiction. And now with cloud, it's not a matter of keeping hard copy. If you can just keep it safely, and passworded in a cloud drive, such as Google Drive or Dropbox, you're fine.
Cool. All right. Let's move on to number 3 then, and that's about business name registration. Yeah, let's tell us how it is.
So I'll use your name as an example. If you are going to operate under Danielle Gardner, no problem, right? If you're going to operate under Danny Gardner, then it's wise to register it. So today I actually had a situation where I was drafting documents and I did a business name search, and only half the business name was registered. So the full business name was not registered, and that presents a problem when you are using your business name and the ABN as a source of identification, because that's what clients, consumers, anyone outside, that's how they find you, because you don't put your whole address, contact number and phone number. People find you through your registered business name, and they'll all your name and whatever comes up with that. So if it doesn't line up, it doesn't look very good. It's a very simple thing.
Cool. Let's go to number 4. What do you have to say about non-disclosure non-disclosure agreements and when we might need them?
Right. I feel that non-disclosure agreements are really underutilized. I think it takes away from people's power when they're actually setting up their businesses to speak comfortably about their ideas and where they want to take their businesses. They're not something that you use just at startup or when you're a developed business. There's something that they're an agreement that you use whenever you're discussing the private business of your business with another party before you engage, so you with a view to engagement, with a view to working together.
Yeah.
So for example, everybody that I even outsource to for any work for myself that are not already bound by privacy codes within their own, so accountants are bound, lawyers are bound, but social media managers are not bound. VAs are not bound.
Yeah.
Graphic designers are not bound. Business coaches are not bound. So if you're going to expose your ideas and your business processes and where you want to go, and it would pay to have that in place. But the power of that document is that it puts people on notice. That you are concerned about this issue, and that puts them on notice to be mindful of how they speak about your business and who they discuss your business with.
And do you have a template yourself that people can get hold of, or any link that we can direct people to?
Yes, I am actually releasing one. Two that I'm releasing in the next couple of months. One is the non-disclosure agreement, a simple one for people that are in this space. It's not one for big corporate. If you go to that level, you need to have it drafted. And the second agreement I'm releasing is a simple speakers agreement, because so many of us agree to speak, and then there needs to be some agreement about how it's promoted. There needs to be some agreement about if there is payment or contra. So I'm trying to get something together for women in this space who want to develop a speaking platform for themselves. That's
excellent.
Yeah.
Right. Wonderful. Let's do number 5. Client agreements. So for both one-on-one work and group stuff as well, programs and courses.
Yes. So what happens with those is that so I'm not as a legal practitioner, I'm not immune to an audit. And so I've just come out of an audit, and my client agreement was critical. Okay, so that was what the auditors used to see how I worked. Okay. So that document to any business owner is their quality assurance document. It's really their blueprint of how they work. And if anything changes in their business, that's what they always refer back to that document. That, okay, we don't charge this anymore. We don't provide this service anymore. We've expanded our service. So that document is a continual work in progress. You leave it up to your practitioner or the person who is helping you with this to determine how that document should look, because sometimes it's a business terms and conditions. Sometimes it is called a client agreement. Sometimes it's called a terms of engagement. It depends very much on the nature of your business. Yeah. So on my website, there are numerous articles about client agreements, why you should have them, how to craft them, what to think about, what information to collect to prepare for one. There's also a checklist. But it's the same thing. Business terms and conditions, client agreement, terms of engagement. So if you have a business, you will need one of those. Yeah. Just don't know which one until you've kind of like unpacked it a bit.
Yeah. And I'll just add, because I learnt this from you, that is something people should see before they buy, not after it, right?
Yes. So one of the things that when I'm speaking to especially startups who are, come to me and say what documents I need, I say, I can tell you what documents I need, but let me tell you, in the next 3 months, you'll be working with a lot of people to help you in your business. Yeah. Right from the the $60 to do your PDF, to the $1,500 to do your website, to the, you know, $1,100 a month business coach, whatever.
Yeah.
All of that, it doesn't matter. Go for it, but please ask to see their client agreement.
Exactly. All right. So then that kind of nicely takes us into the website terms and conditions, which is something altogether very different.
Yes. So so you need to consider your website as your online contract with the world.
Mm-hmm.
So the information on that website and how you present yourself is an invitation to treat. It's an invitation to people out there to connect with you, to interact with you, and even to transact with you. Mm-hmm. So when they transact with you, that's a different level of interaction on your website. But when visitors come onto your website, just at that point, you need to have website terms of use and a privacy policy that is GDPR compliant now, because that's the peak body that is that governs how you need to explain to people how you collect information, why you collect it, and what you do with it. Trust me, if you have an online business, you need to be GDPR compliant. But if you need evidence of that, the checklist will show you how and why you need to address this issue in your legals on your website.
All right. Now, just to back up for a tick, so we're kind of covering the last three points at once.
Oh, okay, sorry.
That's cool. No, because I just want to clarify, like the website privacy policy, that's point number 7. That, just to clarify, it is a separate document, yeah? Or are people also combining them? No, they are separate.
Well, the GDPR regulation said they're not to be combined.
Okay, sure.
They need to be a separate document in larger type on your website. It can't be like in such small type that people can't see it. Yeah, it needs to sit on every web page, on every page of your website, in the header, in the footer. And it needs to be in a type size that is prominent enough for people to go straight to the privacy policy. And it has to be labeled privacy policy. You can't label it as, legals or terms of use and expect the privacy policy to be in there.
All right. Now, prior to GDPR, there was still a requirement to have website terms and conditions and privacy policy on your website as a business owner. Is that correct?
Prior to GDPR, you had to be a business with a turnover of, you had to be a business with a turnover of over $3 million, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So people got or you had to be in a health industry or a allied health. You had to be involved in an industry that health was one of those industries. Sure. Yeah. After GDPR, that has been removed.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's only because, and the reason why this has become an issue is because of email marketing and spamming.
Yeah.
It's not. It's just about this craze we have to collect people's emails addresses for the sake of it and build lists. So it's to put an end to all of that. Now you have to actually say, I'm collecting this information. This is why I'm collecting it. This is how I'm collecting it. This is what I'm going to do with it. And do you consent to it?
Yeah.
Previously, you didn't have to go through all that. GDPR now requires that if you have a website, you do have to comply because your IP address
is
that
global.
You collect. People visit your website, the IP address exposes who you are. It does. You can track that IP address back to a person and their personal information.
Yeah. So point number 8 is GDPR, and of course it is a minefield of information. You do have a number of resources that you can share as well. Tell us about those. That people can
there's a checklist on my website which will help you understand how to navigate it for your business. Yep. The privacy policy the template that I have is drafted according to GDPR regulations, so it's GDPR compliant. Yep. It's very easy to use, and that one privacy policy is the same. You link it to everything.
Yeah.
So you would, in your client agreement, when you say that any information you provide to me is governed by my privacy policy. It can be viewed at, and you give the URL to that privacy policy on your website. If you have a client intake form, your privacy, your private information is managed by our privacy policy, and you give them the same privacy policy that's on your website, because that's GDPR. So that's a very important document, because it goes all through your business. And then you cannot send out emails. You cannot do email marketing unless you have a privacy policy. So it kind of like you can't really get away without not having one. And so it's very easy fix, though. It's not something that you really need to give yourself a big headache over. It's done now. It's on the website. You just download it, fill in the blanks and upload it. And the explanations are all there to help you understand. Yeah. That's the best resource.
Yeah, excellent. So that brings us to the end of the points we wanted to cover, and I just wanted to make a final comment about GDPR. It's like it or hate it, the thing that is good about it is it's brought transparency to some of these unethical kind of practices, and it really shines the light on this whole building your list by ethical bribes, right? So an ethical bribe is, here, have my freebie. I'm not going to tell you that you're joining my list and you're going to get emailed every week or twice a week or whatever. Yeah. That's what was happening in the online world. And so many people just didn't realize that when they signed up for something for free, that's what was happening. Now you got to be transparent about it. And I think that's a really great thing.
And it's been wonderful for slow business. It's made you, so if you are wanting to be slow and measured in your business, that's why your work is so amazing. Having things like this in place that demand transparency necessarily slow you down and make you consider, okay, I need to take into consideration this and this and this, that people's information is private and they need to consent to give it to me. So, and also to give real value instead of just bombarding people with pointless information just so that you can build a pointless list.
Yeah.
Just send more pointless information. So,
the other benefit for people like us is we actually get a more genuine list.
Yeah, so since GDPR, my list has, and I had to make changes because, I really had to look very closely at what was happening in my processes, and I'm really pleased. Mine has slowed down, and the growth has slowed down, but the number of unsubscribes is almost non-existent.
Right.
So it's genuine growth. People that whatever as it grows, whether it's by 1 or 2, whether it's by 10 or 20, the unsubscribes I haven't had one for ages, and I don't notice them any. I mean, it's not that I even notice them anyway, but it's really it's a really good process to gauge the quality of your content as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good point. All right, so let's close it up here, Shalini. This has been really helpful. Provide any links that you have that are helpful for the ladies below this post, wherever it ends up in the group. Yeah. And fantastic. It's been really helpful to go through this with you and clarify some of those.
Anytime. Look, I'm always open to, I don't mind having a chat to anybody about any of this. If it opens up some pathway to, running a great business, it's great. So thank you for having me, and I look forward to, having one of these chats again sometime soon.
Excellent. All right. Thank you so much, Shalini. Bye for now.
You are welcome.